Today's video is sponsored by Surfshark VPN. So I love games that focus on single player, and Game Pass has some of the best available. Today we have the best 25. I'm Sonny, your host at Xbox Central, and we start this off with a single player game that doesn't get much better as far as single player games are concerned, and that's A Plague Tale Requiem, especially if you love a good and emotional story. Now this is the direct sequel to the award-winning Plague Tale Innocence, but with Requiem, it's building on that legacy, and the game continues the adventures of siblings Amicia and Hugo, who are once again at the center of another wave of death and destruction. But this time, Hugo's dormant powers have kicked in, and the duo can now use them to stay alive as they try to find a cure for Hugo's illness on a new island. The game looks absolutely stunning with a great story and challenging gameplay that is really for sure going to keep you hooked for many hours. Now the game Bookwalker Thief of Tales is a uniquely crafted video game where you step into the shoes of Entienne Quist, a once devoted bookworm turned daring thief. And while it might not look like much at first, the game is more than just a pixelated adventure. As Entienne, your job is to delve into the realms of these books and steal valuable items for a criminal boss in hopes to reclaim your lost status in the world. And it's a game where each flip of the page unravels a new and uncharted landscape, bursting with puzzles and challenges that defy logic and enemies that emerge from the shadowy corners of its fiction. It's a unique premise and adventure, and it's a relatively new game as well, and definitely one that deserves a place on this list. If you're looking for a thrilling new FPS title that breaks the boundaries of tradition, Deathloop might be that game for you. In this title, you play as Colt, one of two dueling assassins trapped in a time loop, and your only chance at salvation hinges on eliminating the lives of 8 pivotal targets before the day starts new. But it's not going to be easy, as Deathloop is filled with intricate puzzles that demand precise execution, but you also have this arsenal of deadly abilities and weapons to tackle this challenge. Better yet, you can actually let another player take the role of Colt, and you can play Juliana, Colt's rival, whose only task is to stop and eliminate Colt in a multiplayer mode. It's actually one of the more interesting games on this list because Deathloop, even though it's mostly a single player game, you actually have the opportunity to mess with someone else's single player adventure. It's a game that I've loved when it dropped earlier on Game Pass this 2023, and one that I just could not recommend more. And with that, I hate when people mess with my stuff like in Deathloop. That's why today's sponsor is Surfshark VPN. As Xbox gamers, we really tend to take our gaming to the next level, and that's why today I'm happy to be sponsored by Surfshark VPN, which has been a game changer for me to say the least, and it has some amazing gaming benefits that I think a lot of gamers really overlook. But the most obvious thing it does is it simply protects our data. Recently, a popular YouTuber got hacked, and I decided after seeing that it's really time to take control of my information. But the gaming benefits, guys, is where it's at, especially for us Xbox gamers. When huge new games are released on Xbox, and a lot of them are coming out left and right in the next couple months, you really have this cool benefit of getting access to these locked games early by changing your region to one where the game releases sooner. Or how about playing on the same game servers as your friends from other countries and not having to worry about getting region locked like a lot of us do, which really sucks. Or if you just happen to be a big sports fan like I am, a VPN protects you when you're watching online. This is something that I use literally every weekend, especially with football just now being out. The benefits, guys, I feel like are really clearly there for us gamers, and that's why I'm really happy to announce that if you grab the 24-month package, you get 3 months free, plus if you're not happy, you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. Just go ahead and click that link in the description or scan the QR code on the screen and use code XBOX to get these awesome benefits right away. Thank you to Surfshark VPN for keeping the lights on here at Xbox Central. So the Amnesia series has given us some of the best horror games in the market, and The Bunker sits somewhere on the top of that list. In this game, you step into the shoes of a soldier, Henry Clement, left all alone in a desolate World War I bunker with nothing but a flashlight and a trusty old gun to fight the evil horrors hiding in the dark. The game's all about keeping your wits intact as you navigate the dark corners of this bunker in hopes to find a way out of this hell. But you must be careful as you are constantly being hunted by an ever-present threat reacting to your every move and sound. The game is as much about puzzle solving as it is about uncovering secrets. If you're looking for a good single-player horror title, title, you might not want to look any further than Amnesia: The Bunker. Now, at first I was a little skeptical about whether or not Doom Eternal would do justice to the iconic Doom series, but as soon as I stepped into the shoes of the Demon Slayer, the nostalgia just hit me and took me on this exhilarating ride where you still get that awesome gameplay of the original with the brutality pumped all the way up even more. The gameplay is super smooth and the fluid animation and gunplay is just one of the best there is, and it really allows you to move around the battlefield in style as you slay through hordes of enemies. The game looks absolutely insane, with a ton of detail added to the environment as well as each individual demon, especially when you're spraying them with bullets, and everything just becomes 10 times more thrilling and immersive with the intense music in the background that just keeps you pumped up. If you want some mindless gunplay for a single player game, none do it better than Doom Eternal. Speaking of thrills, Sunset Overdrive is really as thrilling as it gets. It's an unconventional FPS action adventure game set in Sunset City, where a rogue energy drink has turned the residents into evil mutants, but for you, it's a golden ticket to a chaotic playground with no rules to abide by as you just wreak havoc on these mutants using an arsenal of deadly weapons. The thing that I love the most about this game is its insane parkour system that allows you to leap into action, grind along rails, vault over obstacles, and run across walls with unmatched agility. It's not just a shooter, it's a vibrant explosion of style and attitude that challenges the norms and delivers a one-of-a-kind adventure. Now, a game that I think is pretty underrated is Prey. It's a captivating sci-fi thriller that throws players into a mind-bending narrative set aboard the Talos, a futuristic space station orbiting the moon in the year 2032. Now, as the game's main character Morgan Yu, players awaken to a chilling reality. This space station, once intended for groundbreaking experiments to reshape humanity, has fallen into chaos. Hostile aliens have taken it hostage, and they've now turned it into a deadly battleground where survival is paramount. Now, you're mostly alone with just a few survivors left, all trying to find a way out of this hell filled with deadly mutants just out for blood. Your best bet to make it out alive, though, is to find the source and eliminate it before you become one of these mutants. It's a perfect game for someone who loves a good story and some epic gunplay. So it's time to take the pressure off and dive into a less haunting but equally chaotic world in Psychonauts 2. It's a fantastic platform adventure game that follows the journey of Rasputin Raz Aquato, a skilled acrobat and gifted young psychic working for the Psychonauts organization. But since our last encounter with the game, the organization is facing a crisis. There's a traitor in the ranks and you have to find out who that person is. Now, if you've played the first game, you know exactly how this game can get. It has a cinematic flair and a touch of humor that really takes players on a roller coaster ride of quirky missions and mysterious conspiracies. But the good thing is, Raz is a psychic and he can dive into people's minds and battle their inner demons, unlocking some hidden memories and helping them to come to terms with their emotional baggage. Mixed with the game's top-notch platforming, you have a pretty well-rounded single-player game that easily makes one of the top games on this entire list. Halo: The Master Chief Collection is widely regarded as a highly valuable compilation for us fans of the Halo series, and for good reasons. It brings together several mainline Halo games into a single package, providing an opportunity to experience or relive the epic single-player campaigns, as well as enjoy various multiplayer modes and maps. And for those who left the game due to its buggy launch, this is your chance to jump right back in, as the Master Chief Collection has received updates over time to address the issues, improve the performance, and enhance the overall look and feel of the game for more polished experience. It's a great choice for both fans of the franchise and newcomers who want to experience the legendary campaigns that have made the series so popular in the first place. Now, if a good story and narrative is what you're looking for, man, Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice might be the game for you. Playing as a Celtic warrior, you embark on this wild adventure that takes you to the Viking hell in search for the soul of your dead lover. Now, the game stands out not only for its captivating gameplay mechanics, but also for its focus on mental health and psychological exploration. The game offers a hauntingly atmospheric experience, immersing players in a world filled with eerie landscapes in ancient ruins and mystic realms, and the use of binaural audio technology adds to the immersive experience by replicating the auditory hallucinations Senua hears. Now, I know all of that sounded complicated, but if you play the game with headphones, you're gonna see what I mean with how immersive and even downright chilling this game can get. It really is unlike any other game that I've ever played, one that I'm just never going to forget. So if you haven't already, absolutely dive into Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, one of my favorite games on this entire list. Now, even if you're not a big fan of indie games, I think this game deserves a good spotlight here. Planet of Lana is a hand-painted adventure game that blends platforming, puzzles, and exploration with a visual visually stunning art style. The story revolves around a young girl named Lana and her loyal companion as they embark on a journey through a beautifully crafted world to save their homeland from an impending threat. It's a very short 3 to 5 hours long game, but it's highly addicting and it offers a mix of platforming challenges, environmental puzzles, and emotionally engaging storyline. And while it might not look so challenging, Planet of Lana really keeps you at the edge of your seat throughout the entire adventure. Now, I feel it's safe to say the Persona series is highly regarded as one of the best JRPG franchises ever made, and adding to that, Persona 5 Royale is the 6th main installment in the long-running series, where you play as a group of high school students in Tokyo who lead double lives as phantom thieves, and they're using their supernatural powers and personas to fight enemies in an alternative reality known as the Metaverse. Each character has its own unique personas that they use to fight intense turn-based battles that rely on power and strategy. But it's not just the battles. Us fans love these games due to their social element. They can attend high school, they develop social links with other characters, and they can engage in various activities, even a day-to-day job, that improve their stats and relationships as well doing those things. So if you love JRPGs with a ton of depth and activities and fun combat, I think this is the game for you. So we have the game Ghostwire Tokyo. This is a power-packed action-adventure game where you play as Akito, an ordinary guy turned extraordinary after being possessed by a spirit. Together, they dive headfirst into an otherworldly Tokyo, a city with stunning beauty, an eerie mystery, and tons of monsters. Now, one thing you'll notice is, and I am a fan of Ghostwire Tokyo's exhilarating combat, guys, that lets you fight with spirits in a fast-paced and fun way, and while you're not battling it out on the streets, you'll be untangling the shroud of secrecy that overshadows the city. There's much to be done in this game, and just don't take my word for it, Ghostwire Tokyo has received overwhelmingly positive user reviews and comes with a high Metacritic score of 82. Now, we're absolutely going to have to add one of the best games to land on Game Pass in recent times, that is Starfield, and this has us taking on the role of an explorer traveling the galaxy fueled by your ambitions. Whether that's going to be for greed or for good, you'll be exploring a vast open world with tons of planets to explore, discovering new locations and finding new missions and people to engage with. And with a game from Bethesda like this, there's going to be, of course, missions that come with choices. You'll be able to persuade, steal, lie, bribe, intimidate, or fight for good. And of course, this game is sci-fi, so you are going to have things like futuristic weapons and a lot of combat dogfights and even pirating and taking out ships and then boarding them and then taking those ships over. Not only that, but the ships are fully customizable, and there's even base building, and the main quest of this game reportedly can take up to 40 hours alone. Some have said they've spent 60 on just the main quest alone. We're not talking about all the side missions you can do left and right. Starfield really has the potential to not only give you hundreds of hours, but maybe thousands. Honestly, there's so much to do in Starfield, which is typical of a Bethesda title, and which is why, in my opinion, it's pretty mind-blowing, and this might be the ultimate single-player game on this list. So it's been a while since Quantum Break's release, but it still remains one of the better single-player games in the market. Developed by Remedy Entertainment, Quantum Break brilliantly merges third-person shooter mechanics with inventive gameplay elements, resulting in a modern gaming experience that perfectly aligns with its futuristic setting, and its narrative unfolds through a series of integrated live-action episodes that adapt to your choices. The game also features a branching narrative with moments where you have to make critical choices that impact the story's direction. These choices not only influence the gameplay, but they affect the live-action episodes that follow. One of the more unique games on this list, and one worth trying here this 2023. Yakuza is one of the most underrated action-adventure franchises, and for me, that's kind of why it makes these lists all the time. It's an epic journey that combines gritty crime drama with heartwarming moments and unapologetic absurdity. Spanning multiple entries, each installment paints a vivid picture of the intricate world of organized crime in Japan, while also weaving in a web of unforgettable characters and experiences. And while the entire series is pretty amazing, but if you are just getting started and you're unsure where to start, Yakuza 0 I think is your best bet. As the prequel, it provides a deep insight into the origins of key characters and the Yakuza underworld, while also introducing players to the vibrant streets of 80s Japan, offering a mix of compelling narrative and engaging side stories, and of course a wealth of activities to participate in. Now, if there's by some reason you just haven't played one of my favorite games on this list in Outer Worlds, I definitely think you should try this out. Developed by Obsidian Entertainment, the makers of Fallout New Vegas, Outer Worlds is set in an alternative future where the game takes place in a universe where mega corporations have colonized and terraformed various planets, and they're really controlling every single thing except for you, a guy who just awakened from a deep cryo sleep and embarks on this wild adventure to disrupt the entire Signature system. The game has been loved for its engaging narrative, the player-driven storyline, and the dark humorous take on sci-fi themes, and it's a game that I try my best to scream from the mountaintops that this is honestly one of the most underrated, if not the very most underrated title to release within the last 5 years. Guys, it's really that good. Not only that, but Outer Worlds 2, an Xbox exclusive, is still set to come in the years ahead, so now's your chance to dive into an amazing series and kind of see what it's all about. We can't forget about Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga, guys. This is one of the best Star Wars and Lego games in the series, and Skywalker Saga covers all 9 mainland Star Wars films in one comprehensive package. The game features an open world design, really allowing players to freely explore iconic locations from the Star Wars universe. Each film's story is adapted with Lego's signature humor and storytelling style as well, but despite being a more simplified version of the Star Wars game, Skywalker Saga's attention to detail is truly impressive, with each location brimming with life and authenticity. And if we talk about things to do, I mean, this game is just filled to the brim with puzzles and side quests and various activities that'll really keep you immersed for hours on end. Despite this being mostly a single player game, if you want it to be, it does have those couch co-op capabilities, so if you want to experience this epic journey with a friend, you absolutely can. But now, if Legos isn't your thing and you still want to enjoy a thrilling Star Wars experience, a Jedi Fallen Order might just be that game for you. It's a thrilling third-person action-adventure game set in the expansive Star Wars universe. Now, this narrative-driven single-player experience really throws you into the role of a Jedi Padawan who narrowly escapes the devastating Order 66 purge after the events of Revenge of the Sith. Your mission is to rebuild the Jedi Order, embarking on a quest that demands you piece together your shattered past, unlock potent new Force abilities, and master the iconic lightsaber, all while staying ahead of the Empire and its ruthless Inquisitors. Now, I love this game for a lot of reasons, be it the game's cinematic combat, the thrilling exploration, or the challenging puzzles. If you guys are a fan of Star Wars, honestly, it doesn't get much better than Jedi Fallen Order. Now, if you're a fan of indie platformers, there's a good chance you've played this game, but if you haven't, Ori and the Blind Forest is a game that you shouldn't miss out on. It's a critically acclaimed action platformer by Moon Studios that's highly praised for its stunning visuals, emotional storytelling, and challenging gameplay. The game emphasizes exploration, puzzle solving, and precision-based platforming. As Ori, you must navigate through various environments, each with its own unique challenges and obstacles and puzzles. Now, as you progress through the story, Ori also gains new abilities that allow for enhanced combat. It's a unique and memorable gaming experience that really resonates with us players who appreciate both action and both narrative-driven games. One thing that I love about the Mass Effect Legendary Edition is that it brings 3 awesome Mass Effect games, and this edition offers a visual overhaul to make the games more immersive and up to date with more of the modern generation. But that's far from the only thing that made me recommend this. Mass Effect Legendary Edition comes packed with tons of content, including 40+ single-player DLCs, refined aiming and combat mechanics, updated controls, and adjustments to certain gameplay elements to improve consistency across the 3 games. And despite all these major improvements, the game still stays true to its roots and offers a nostalgic experience for returning players. And what's there to say about this entire franchise? It's still some of the best storytelling games that's been ever made, where your choices literally make micro and major impacts throughout the entire universe, for good or for bad. And honestly, guys, it's one of the best on this list and a top 3, and one that you must play if you just by far haven't already, or if you just want to dive back in for that pure nostalgia. And with that, it's time to take a deep dive into the dark depths of the seas with Soma, a deep, impactful, and thought-provoking horror game that really leaves a mark on its players. It's not your ordinary horror game filled with random jump scares or some dark entity that's constantly hunting you from the shadows. Soma gives the genre a more psychological touch, coupled with its philosophical and disturbing story that creates a unique blend that really keeps you immersed. And one interesting thing about this game is there's no fighting. You either outsmart your enemies or you run as fast as possible. It's an immersive horror title that comes in with over 30,000 overwhelmingly positive user reviews and a Metacritic score of 84, so this is one that's absolutely worth diving into. Now, if you're a fan of games like Zelda, especially the old school versions of Zelda that embrace that expansive open world experiences mixed with the puzzles and exploration, I think the game Tunic is going to be right up your alley. In this game, you step into the shoes of a small fox who embarks on a big adventure without any guide. This game's all about exploration, as it teaches you about the secrets of the world through the pages that you collect. These pages make up a sacred book that assists you in strategizing your progress throughout the game, and it doesn't hold your hand like most games do. It lets you take on this challenge at your own pace, but be aware of the enemies, as combat in this this game is simply as challenging as the exploration is in this game. You need to dodge, parry, block, and strike with precise timing to defeat your enemies. If you're looking for that Zelda-like experience on Xbox, don't look further than Tunic on Game Pass. So Dishonored 2 makes this list. This is set 15 years after the vanquish of Lord Regent and the Great Plague. Dishonored 2 puts you in the shoes of supernatural assassins, but this time around, you get to choose between two distinct characters, Emily and Corvo, and your choice not only aligns with the in-game lore, but it also provides diverse gameplay experiences for each character. And talking about the gameplay, I think Dishonored 2 really improves upon the gameplay mechanics and the world-building aspects of its predecessor. However, the story does lack a little impact that made Dishonored so immersive in the first place, but I think everything else is on point and it makes up for this particular shortcoming. Either way, I think Dishonored 2 deserves a spot on this list, especially if you like a great revenge tale and you just love an awesome single-player game. So High on Life is kind of a game unlike others on this list. From the get-go, you're thrust into a world where talking alien guns are your allies in a battle against aliens with a bizarre agenda. They're kidnapping humans to utilize them as a substance for a cosmic high. Yeah, you heard that right. This premise alone is a wild ride, and it sets the tone for an action-packed shooter that's anything but ordinary. Yet, I don't want you to be fooled by its comical chaos. High on Life is as challenging as it gets. You'll need your sharpest skills to take down these eccentric aliens, armed with their offbeat superpowers and an uncanny urge to attain a celestial high. Also, adding to the game's charm is its resemblance to the iconic show Rick and Morty, so you know there's going to be nothing but humor littered throughout the game. So if you want something funny and extremely fun single-player game, I think you want to look no further than High on Life. So we're going to end this video on the game Atomic Heart, a game that kind of reminds you a bit of BioShock and Fallout. Immediately what stands out is the game's impact visually. The fast action combat where you're wielding supernatural abilities from this power glove almost has you looking godlike as you take down hordes of crazy and killer robots. The game's story can leave a little bit to be desired, but overall the puzzles are clever and well done. The gameplay is fast and fluid, and it's one of the more newer games on this list as it dropped in early 2023. So if you're looking for a fast-paced and fun single-player game, I think Atomic Heart is for you. And with that, if you're looking for the best Game Pass games this 2023 overall, check out this video on the screen. And remember to check my link below for that 3 months free and that 30-day back guarantee at Surfshark VPN.